There we go.
So, hello everybody. So, Mindy and I have decided we're going to do the Maliciously Hopeless podcast. We're going to talk about, well, all things crafty related and whatever else suits our fancy.
Yep.
So,
sit down, buckle up, enjoy the ride.
You want to do your intro?
Sure. Hi everybody, I'm Mindy, also known as Miss Mel. I have a YouTube channel, The Stitching Corner with Miss Mel. I've started showing more stuff that I've been doing on that, so might rebrand it, might not. I also happen to be a admin moderator over at Cross Stitch It's Fun. I like to say full-time stay-at-home mom and wife, but we all know I work part-time. And I've been crafting, stitching, see, I'm gonna be 36, 31 years. Oh my God. Old. 31 years, yeah.
I really don't want to hear the old comment.
I'm sorry, it's just like, oh my God, I've been doing this my whole life.
All right, so I am Charity, otherwise known as Wonderfully Hopeless. I also have a YouTube channel, Wonderfully Hopeless. Depending on the time of year and whether or not you see videos from me or not, I am almost 40, married and a college student going for my bachelor's degree in biology education. And I have been crafting for over 30 years, and unlike Mindy, I'm leaving it at the over 30 years and am not going to go any further with it.
So you two can say your whole life.
Pretty much. So we are both primarily cross-stitchers, however, we are multi-craftual. So, yeah.
Yeah. But we do like to say we're stitchers who craft.
Pretty much. As I don't think either one of us are working on cross stitch at this moment, we're both doing something else. We have good reason. I remember what stitch I'm doing. Probably.
Yeah, I'm trying to get, something done for a baby that is going to probably be 2 months by the time he gets this stuff.
I think it's officially 2 months now.
Oh, Lord. Well, I'm on better of a roll with that than I was with my children. I mean, Alex was 18 months when I finished his birth sampler. And Ian was 4?
Yeah. So we'll get right into cross stitches. Yeah, cross stitch first. We do have a format we're going to do for the show, but neither one of us have any finishes today. So we're gonna go right into whips.
Okay.
Mindy?
Yep. Let's see here. So for whips, I don't have my show notes up.
Melinda moves first.
Melinda moves first. Okay, I started this. I don't remember when I started this. I know for a fact, though, that I was still in school. It's been almost 3 years now since I graduated, so it's a heaven and earth, people. You know they take generations. This one it's the full size, too, so there, that right there says it all. It's a Hannah Lynn. It's named Melinda and Moo-Hoo. I received it as an RAK, or a random act of kindness. And that's what I have done on it so far. Thanks to Tour de Stitches, I was able to get the top row of black all done. Wow, that looks really, really good on camera.
Yeah, it's looking really good.
Yeah. I got this one because my legal first name is Melinda, and anyone who has an odd first name will understand my pain of when you go to places that have the name plates for the license plates, coffee cups, anything. Neither one of my names Melinda or Mindy are never there.
Nope.
So what I did as a kid is anytime I would see something with my name on it, I had to buy it. I didn't care what it was. I had to get it. So when I saw that chart, I was like, damn you, budget. I need this chart. And then one day I opened up and there was an RAK sitting in my email from a former employee of Heaven and Earth who would every now and then just, I think she was called Figworthy or something. It was, Prunella Figworthy, was it?
I have no.
She was an employee of Heaven and Earth, and like once a month she would do a certain number of RAKs. And it was incredible to receive that. And then I have, so that's gonna be a long time with. And then I have Angel of Love by Lavender and Lace.
Love that one. Cannot wait to do it.
Yep. Oh, come on, camera. Oh, you just decided to go out of focus. Don't be this way. So that's what I have done so far. I started beading in her hair. This wing, this top part is finished. I started down into this wing. This is how big the wings are. They go all the way down to here.
Yeah, they're gorgeous.
They're gorgeous. This thing is huge. This has a planned finish date. I'm hoping by Christmas or before Christmas, because then I gotta FFO it and get it in the mail. Let's see. Next, I think, is Noelle Christmas Angel.
Correct.
Okay. That's all the farther I am on her. She's a Brooks Books Publishing, so Brooke Nolan. You can find her in the Just Cross Stitch 2015 ornament issue. And what's cool about her is she's what we call those 3D ornaments, meaning there's some elements that you stitch all the elements and then you stack them. So there's depth and all that. And plus I have to make her braided ponytail. I brought what she'll look like when she's done.
Oh, I love her.
Yeah. So you stitch everything individually, and then there's a lot of specialty fibers. Like this is that whispered, I think, and you tack it on.
You have fun with
over the stitching, so everything has a base stitching, and then you embellish from there. And it's this right here. It's her braided hair that you have to create yourself. It's going to be, and then you also put feathers on for the wings, so you build the wings yourself too. That's a planned tree topper. I'm going to turn it into a tree topper for my glorious immaculate plan for Christmas. Charity's heard all about this plan. My dining room, I love to decorate for Christmas. Christmas literally throws up in every room of my house.
Pretty much mine too.
Pretty much every room. Bathrooms too. I'm one of those. Bedrooms, bathrooms, everywhere. And we have one great big Christmas tree in our living room. And I want to have more trees. Yes, you heard that, people. More trees. I want to have themed trees. So we have the big tree, which is the family tree. So all the family ornaments are on there, kids' ornaments that they've made at school. And I still have flipping terry fuzz everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my dining room, because I'm cross-stitching also the heirloom Christmas ornament, Christmas stockings from, now they're from Better Homes and Gardens. Back when they were first released, it was cross-stitching Country Crafts, which I missed that magazine. So they're going to be up there. Each one of the family members are going to have one. And then I was kind of sitting back and going, okay, I'm changing the whole theme of this room. It's getting beefed out swag garland with like sugared fruits and everything. And then I'm like, now I need a theme tree. I need a handmade ornament tree. Yep. 4 feet. Nothing but handmade ornaments. That's my big plan.
I've done that. It looks gorgeous when you don't.
Oh god, yeah.
I've got more handmade ornaments than I know what to do.
I hope to reach that.
It took me two years,
2 years?
and that's basically all I stitched was handmade ornaments. I didn't do anything else.
Oh God.
And it wasn't just cross stitch. I also did some other stuff.
I'm gonna have to get the kids involved. Make mommy ornaments.
I actually crocheted ornaments too.
Ooh, that's an idea. Well, we'll get to that in future plans. And then I've also worked on, and this, oh wait, that's a new start, right? Yes, that's a new start. I really need to have the show notes up.
Needle workshop is next.
They do. Grab this. Okay, and then next is Needle Workshop. It's by Country Cottage Needleworks. Those who are longtime viewers of mine know my love affair for Country Cottage Needleworks and Little House Needleworks. And you just know my love affair for anything primitive and Americana. So this is what this is looking like.
Oh, it's looking really good, Mindy.
Yep, I got the roof in. What I did is I finished the bottom of the shop. And then I was able to place the windows. And then after I had the windows placed, I was able to count up and place all this.
It looks really good.
This is one of the very first one. This is my one of my other times of venturing into starting in the middle. What's wrong with you people who start in the middle? It doesn't.
Depends on the pattern.
Yeah, I grew up when I was taught it was left-hand corner, top left-hand corner, and you work down and over.
Yeah, nobody cared when I started.
Yeah. Let's see. Then it is. Is that it for all my whips?
I think so.
Mine's new. Okay.
So for my whips, let me finish my stitch because, otherwise I'll forget. So I only have one whip right now because with tour going on, I decided to focus mainly on one piece. Give me my floss back, silly thing. So I am working on the lighthouse. Most of my viewers know this. So this is something I charted. My father-in-law is an amateur photographer, and he goes to Cape Cod every year. He took a picture of his favorite lighthouse, this being it, and it's the Highland Light. And he doesn't display his own pictures, but he'll display my artwork. So I took his picture and I charted it into a cross stitch pattern. And the goal is to have it done maybe by Christmas, but hopefully, if nothing else, by Father's Day. So that's my one and only whip. And I've been stitching on it for over a year now. School flash you.
The fact that it was tour, you practiced tremendous amounts of restraint by only focusing on one.
Well, I worked on a couple others, but predominantly that one.
Yep.
Okay, so for new starts, Mindy is again, well,
I'm crazy. That's going to be one theme you're going to learn about me is I want to start it all. I see, it's like, ooh, look, glittery shiny object. Ooh, look, another glittery shiny object.
Yep, she wants to start them all and I want to kid them all.
Yep. Okay, so my first new start, and I think I started this either on July 19th or July 20th. I know I started it during one of our hangouts. Yeah. It's Fibery Friends, and I think everybody knows what that by now looks like from Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. This is how far I've gotten on it. This is once again thank you to Tour. That's a pretty good start. I almost have a quadrant finished. And I am backstitching as I'm going because there's very minimal backstitching in here, just like detail, like adding the tassels on the scarves, and then there'll be like, the knitting needles and all that.
Nice.
Yep. I'm stitching it as charted with the call for threads. And this fabric was from Heavenly Hand Eyes. And It's a 32 count, or no, 28 count Cashel, and it's called Purple Passion. Hope I'm remembering that correctly. And then I started The Haunted House, aka Halloween Shack. Where did it go? Okay, here's the magazine. It appears in this magazine. I'm going to show you what it looks like in the magazine because I have converted the bleep out of this thing. So this is Haunted House. To me, this really doesn't say Halloween with all the day glow, neon colors. Okay, it's cutesy. I'm not one for super uber cutesy Halloween, which is hilarious because I love kawaii. I love anything kawaii, but not my Halloween.
Nope.
My Halloween can be a little cute, but it better be spooky and creepy with that cute. Excuse me while I'm looking at my basket. There it is. So, here it is. Yes, it's completely different. The ghost is staying the same. That's stitched in the DMC glow in the dark. Right? Glow in the dark? I feel. Yep, that's glow in the dark. So there's that. Now everything else has changed. Everything else so far has been a color variations. And I don't have my notes with me. And I didn't even write it down on the pattern what I've done. Oh. Actually, yeah, I have one color written down. It was the first change I made, which was in the pattern around the candy corns. It's a day glow blue. I changed it to a Light Effects E317. So, and then the pumpkin stems are another Light Effects. It's I think the walnut color. The house, I can't believe I've done this, that I didn't write anything down.
After we've discussed this and made this mistake before.
Yeah, okay.
You're gonna have to get the journal and start journaling your...
Yeah, I am. But everything here so far has either been a light effect, a variations, or a satin.
Yep.
There has been no standard stranded cotton yet put into this, and there probably won't be. Everything is going to be stitched in variations. So what I've done is the color I chose for the house, to me, looks like moldering wood, like when you go into a swamp. That was kind of my theme also when I saw the way it looked ramshackled was, you're in, think about the Everglades swamps, think about Savannah, Georgia. When the wood there sits in the swamp for a while, it gets this grayish, greenish cast to it. So that is what I was trying to simulate here, because that's the chimney.
Yep.
And then in the roof, this color and this color, they're two different colors. They're just like a shade off of each other. And I decided to do two different colors in the roof because I wanted it to look like individual planks of wood. And then the sign is another variation. And then I backstitch it in the black satin. So that's what I've done so far on that one.
It's looking really good.
Yeah. And this is a piece of fabric that was gifted to me from a Floss Tube Facebook member. I really don't know the count. I think it's a 28. Stitching like it's a 28. But I also chose this one because it has that cool effect. It's like a mottled brown.
Yeah, it looks really good on there. It
Yeah.
goes with your swampy look.
Yeah. So that's how you fix a pattern. That's how I fixed that one. And then my other new starts, and I left it downstairs. It's Basket of Apples. It is from page 70 of the Just Cross Stitch October 2015 issue. It is designed by Ursula Michael.
2015 issue?
Yep. October 2015.
Is that the one that we both have?
I don't think I have this magazine because I had well, not a physical copy. I got a downloaded copy.
Okay. Never mind.
Because I am subscribed to Just Cross Stitch, and when you subscribe to Just Cross Stitch, you get access to 2-year archives. So I was able to get a lot of issues that I missed getting for like 2 years. And plus what they've done, which is really amazing, but you got to hurry up and get your subscription here soon, is they've included the last few issues of needlework, antique needlework. What's it? Antique Needlework and Sampler Quarterly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I got those, which is really cool, which I still want to do one of those pincushion dolls. Okay, that's it for my new starts. That was really light on new starts. Usually I'm like, pile this high.
All right, just a second. I'm on my last 2 stitches, and yeah, I'm not gonna have it fall off the needle because, well, you'll hear me curse.
Yeah.
All right, so I don't have quite as many. I'm not too far behind her. So I'll start with the one that I'm planning on starting but have not started yet. It's kitted, which for me is close enough.
According to your husband, it is a start.
Yeah. So this is what they say it will look like. This is not what I will have it look like. So it's from the Cross Stitch and Country Crafts September of '93. And I went, oh, Victorian house. So, and the same as Mindy, we both do this quite frequently. I will be stitching it on this fabric. And I should have put these on a ring. It would have been easier to show. Oh wait, I have rings right here. The joys of having a craft room.
Yeah, hush your mouth.
I have to study in here too. The study just keeps, the crafts just keep me from wanting to hurt people.
You know, when me and Steve moved in and I moved out of my parents' house, I left a craft room.
So those are the colors that I'll be using. At least for the house. The ghost will be glow in the dark and there'll be some black, but that's the main colors. So there's that one. Hopefully I'll get a start into it soon, but you know, I have to study all week this week, so it ain't gonna happen this week. Maybe I'll take it home with me when I have to go home in 2 weeks. And then actually put stitches on this one yesterday. So it's a really real new start. So it is, Home is Where the Cake Is, and it is by Maria Diaz, and it's from the Cross Stitcher European Mag, summer of 2014. And this is where I'm at. So I haven't gotten a ton done, but I have started it. So now to get it put back up so I don't get cat hair on it. So that's my new starts. I think that puts me close to 40 or so. I have to count again to know.
For this year, right? Or just 40 in total?
Total. God,
I'm not counting. You can't make me.
I'm telling you, my goal is 100 whips by the end of the year, or at least 80 minimum whips.
Lord, I'd probably be right behind you though.
I want to beat Corey. I want to have that. Nanner, I have more whips than you do.
Oh wow.
I'm maniacal. I can't help it.
Yeah.
All right, so stash acquisitions for cross stitch.
I have only one thing. I got in, as I said, I'm subscribed to Just Cross Stitch, and I got in the mail the next one. I'm just covering up my address label down here, people. You're not missing anything. It's the August 2016 one. I also get it in a digital copy because when I decided to subscribe for this, there was a deal going on where I got print and digital at the same time.
Which I think that deal is still going on. However,
Yep.
I opt for the just digital. So I have that one too, but just in digital.
Yep, you can do just digital, you can do just print, you can do digital and print. I like digital and print because I like to be able to like, I want to cross stitch something and I'm at my mom's house, which is 2 hours away from here, and I have nothing with me. I'm going to go raid my sister's stash and pull up a pattern on my Kindle.
Yeah, I like the digital one for that. I can't handle the paper because I have no space. I'm running out of hoarding space, so you know.
Just need to get a bigger house.
I need to downsize.
Oh,
maybe,
blasphemy.
maybe I can throw some of the husband's beer making supplies away and use that extra space.
There you go.
All right, so for me, I have, let's see, I picked up the Halloween Just Cross Stitch edition. Lovely. I'm sure everybody else has seen it, but I will give you a quick taste. Mindy and I both are drooling over this one. We really want to do that one. So
I want to do that skull. I love the skull this year.
I like the pattern. I hate the colors. Sugar skulls are not black and white, so I'm gonna have to fancy that one up. But I've got to kit this one up soon because Jim asked me to do that one, my husband. So I have to do that. And then here, let's watch Mindy drool.
Ugh.
Gee, Mindy, what am I gonna show?
A part of a thread collection that I don't have yet, which is just astounding to me.
So it was started off innocently enough. I needed the orange for my pumpkins for the Halloween project. And I maybe bought half of the colorist line with the other half to come home soon.
Those ones are gorgeous.
They are absolutely gorgeous. DMC, I think, really stepped up on this one. So some of them are very similar to the other, what is it, the color variations?
The variations, yeah.
So some of them are very similar to that, but some of them, like that one, is just really different.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to have to find a 4th of July piece for this one. It's just beautiful. So those came home with me, and you know, I might have to bobbinate those for the Stitching Olympics for the bobbinating event.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to. Honey, I need to buy threads just to bobbinate.
Good luck on that one.
You know, Steve. You know what he's gonna do is he's gonna look at me going, "Have you lost your mind, woman?"
Oh, you want to hear something hilarious? Completely random off topic.
What?
So Jim approaches me last night and he's like, and what was it? He's like, "So are we going out tomorrow?" I'm like, we need to go to the grocery store and the craft store. I'm looking at him like, what?
What did he do?
You need a trip to Hobby Lobby, don't you? I do need a couple threads for the project I'm kitting, the cake one. I need 2 threads for that. And he's like, oh, great, so we can go to the craft store. It took me a second to realize, oh, wait, yeah, there are Pokey whatever things in that parking lot. So I get craft store trips.
He gets to Pokemon Go.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, this game is really starting to make me happy because he is going to let me go to the craft store without any grief. Works for me.
I was about to call shenanigans and say Invasion of the Body Snatchers, you need to start looking for the pod.
Even it is good for going over to the LNS because there's like 3 stops on that road.
Really?
Yeah. So I can make
I need to get Steven to playing Pokemon Go.
And the shop owner at my LNS has her little dog in the store. So he's quite entertained petting the dog or playing with the dog while I shop.
Mine's better. You want to know what?
GameStop.
Oh yeah. Just 2 storefronts down is GameStop. So I'll be like, okay, honey, bye boys. I'll see you in about an hour.
Yep.
And those 3 go to the GameStop. I go to my LNS, and then we meet at Subway, which is kind of in between.
There you go. Hey, whatever we have to do.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Anyway, so I think that's all the stitching except for future plans, which we will get to later.
We'll do future plans after everything else.
Now on to yarn craft, because yes, we do that too. And we're going to start with knitting. That is Mindy's expertise. So what have you been working on?
A little bit of an expertise. I'm still a novice knitter.
Compared to me. No. You don't get novice. I'm novice. You're
okay. Confident beginner. Confident beginner.
Intermediate.
So I'm kind of like Jessie Marie from Jessie Marie Does Stuff here on FlossTube. I'm kind of like her to where it's like, oh, so that's how you knit and purl? Cool. Let me jump in with both feet and do this really huge, complicated shawl. Yeah, I do that a lot. And I just realized I left the owl cowl downstairs. I'm going to mute for a second and see if I can scream at one of the children.
Good luck on
yes,
that.
They're very quiet today. You want to know what I told them?
What?
You guys can stay downstairs and watch Gravity Falls on demand.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay.
Good luck.
But here, actually, you know what I'm going to do, because I'm not going to scream for my children. I'm just going to pull up a picture.
That works too.
This is when I first started knitting, give you guys a little background. I haven't been knitting for that long. It's only been 3 years now, because I started knitting because my coworker from Joann Fabrics told me I was going to start knitting. I had no choice in the matter. Basically what happened is we were working one day at the cutting counter, and she was talking about her knitting, and I was talking about my cross stitching. And she put down her scissors. She goes, you are going to buy yarn and needles, and you're going to meet me at Caribou on this day. And I'm like, I know nothing about what? And she goes, okay. She goes, just buy the yarn. We'll get you the needles at a different store. Just buy the yarn. I'm like, well, what type of yarn? She goes, whatever. You can even get Red Heart if you want to. Yes, my very first starting knitting project, which was my second FO of my lifetime, is made out of, brace yourselves, knitters around the world, yarn people around the world, Red Heart Super Saver. The colorway was pink tonal. Surprising? No. I made a scarf out of it. It's a garter stitch scarf. It's not going to see the light of day by a lot of people, because you can see flubs like, oh, look, your stitches are really tight here. Oh, look, they're super loose up here. Oh, look, they're kind of getting good here. Oh, look, you did it again. So, and then the second FO in my life was by Tin Can Knits. It's the Antler Toque. I live in Minnesota, people. I went up northern Minnesota enough to know that it's not called a hat, it's a toque. There you go, waving out to our fellow, to our lovely Canadians out there. It has a toque. Okay, here in the States, we call it a stocking hat or a winter hat. It's called a toque in Canada, and in probably France as well, because of all that wonderful crossover.
I'd have to look it up, but
Yeah.
no.
But
Word for hat in French, but I can't remember.
it's knit in the round from the bottom up, as most hats, when you knit in the round, you knit from the bottom up. Unless, of course, you're knitting a sweater, then sometimes you knit from the top down. And it's got a really intricate panels of cabling that look like antlers stacked on each other, going all the way up the hat. So I knit that for Steve. He didn't even let me block it when I got it off the needles. I got it off the needles. I ran the yarn through. I tied it off, pulled the knot through. He grabbed it out of my hands and shoved it on his head and went, "It's good," and walked out the door. And I'm like, okay. And it's still together. I'm amazed, because not the fact that, that it's because of my knitting, not from how much he's wearing it, but from my knitting. And according to him and the kids, I've worn it a couple times, our past couple winters. It is very warm. Very warm. And that was my second project that I knit out of Karen Simply Soft. Their Simply Soft Heather print line in charcoal. And then I kind of put my knitting down for a while. I was getting a little, like I said, I'm a stitcher who crafts. So I went back to cross stitching and had tons and tons of fun there. Where are my photos? There are my photos. And just recently I started picking up the knitting again, and I decided to jump in once again, feet first. Big old project. Not surprising. And I made the owl cowl, which I found on Ravelry.com by LaDonna Maxwell. If you just search owl cowl, you'll find it. There's a cabling pattern in this cowl that makes it look like there's owls, and there's beading in there for the eyes. I stitched this one out of Verdant Griffin Edios. I think that's how you pronounce that. And the colorway Lady Lovey Bond. It was a yarn gifted to me, my very first real yarn by the person who taught me how to knit. And that's what it looks like.
So pretty.
It is. It looks so much prettier in person. It's nice. It's squishy. It was a fingering weight yarn, which I'm in love with. Fingering weight, lace weight. I really love those yarns because I love knitting really fine, delicate stuff. And that was my third FO in my entire life of knitting, and I love it. It's amazing. And then we're going to get into some of my other knitting, and I've had a plethora of cast-ons since I repicked up my knitting. And I mean a plethora. It's gotten to the point to where when I get on Hangouts, everyone's like, "Are you stitching or are you knitting?" And I'm like, "I'm knitting." What'd you start now? And I'm like, what do you mean? What did I start? And getting involved in knitting, and also with some crochet, and Charity knows this too. We have a lovely member of our Mod Squad, Netta, who is a most generous person. One of the most generous people I've ever met.
Love Netta.
You love Netta. Hi, Netta.
Yeah, because you know she's going to watch this.
She's going to watch this. Has gifted me yarn. Some really beautiful yarn. This has been sitting in my stash, saying this: "You must make me into something. You know you want to see me knit it up. What are you waiting for? Why are you starting that one? That shawl is just going to drive you insane." And once I tell you the backstory about this shawl driving me insane, you'll understand why this yarn was saying that. This yarn, I think, cursed that other shawl, so I would start it and then go back to that one. Netta gifted me the Trillion shawl, yarn and pattern, because I love knitting. And this shawl is a garter stitched shawl. It has a really nice lace border with a couple yarn overs. And this is how far I've gotten on it so far.
Oh, that's looking good.
Yeah, see, I'm starting to get a color shift. See, it was lighter down here, so I'm starting to get into the darker.
Mm-hmm.
Can't wait to see the pinks. And this is, designer was Martina Bem. I started July 16th. How do I know this exactly? Because for my knitting, I use Ravelry. And then it's Mystery Yarn from Netta. Unbeknownst to Netta, the skein band went missing before she sent this. She thought it was stuffed in here like most knitters do. When you make a center pull cake, you roll up or you wrap the skein band around it, or somehow you keep your skein band with this. All we know is a fingering weight. I'm loving it. It's greens and pinks. It's my favorite colors, so it works wonderfully. Like I said, it's knitting up like a dream. I did have an accident with this shawl the other morning that almost made me want to cry. My oldest son is in summer school, so that means our day starts at 6 a.m. And the other day, I think it was Thursday. Yeah, it was yesterday, wasn't it?
Yep, it was.
Yep. I slept in. Didn't get up until 6:30. So we're rushing to get breakfast and get dressed and get teeth brushed and get everything and get out the door. Finally, I get him out the door because his bus comes promptly at 7:23. And I sit down to knit. And as I'm sitting down to knit, my yarn cake takes a roll off the couch. And I'm at this point like, I don't care. You want to sit on the floor, you sit on the floor. And when it rolled off the couch, it kind of wrapped around my ankle. I had no idea this had happened. Next thing I hear, knocking on the door and doorbell. And I'm like, Jesus. Because Steve and Ian are still asleep. I jump up from the couch, trip, and feel a snap. Now I'm like, that was either my yarn or a ligament. In my life, it could be either one. I rush to the door. Alex is standing there, looks at me and goes, "Hi, Mom, power's out at school. There's no air, so no school." And I'm like, oh, okay. Go play quietly in your room. You might hear him walking down the hall right now.
Sorry.
So I stand there for a few minutes. I'm like, okay, I'm standing. It wasn't a ligament. We're good.
No, we're not.
I walk over to the couch and I see yarn ball has bounced now over towards fireplace and yarn tail and space and knitted parts of shawl on couch. And I'm looking at and it's not connecting until all of a sudden if I was on a hangout, you could have literally watched it come over my face. It was like, oh my God, my yarn broke. I just about broke down in tears. I'm like, okay, universe, what did I do? I have a shawl that is kicking my butt that I have ripped out 3 times now. The shawl that is going splendidly.
Forget the 1 week. You pulled it out 3 times in 1 week.
Yeah, 3 times in 1 week.
Actually, might have been 3 times in 2 days.
Yeah. The shawl that I was loving, which was just stitching up as a dream, and now the yarn's broken. I have a headache, so I can't even cross stitch. It's like, I had a few moments of panic, and then I consulted the knitting gods of YouTube and discovered that there was this thing called a spit splice. I couldn't get it to spit splice because it's not a single strand. I think it's a 4-strand. Nope, it's a 3-strand. It's a 3-strand yarn. So if your yarn is more than a strand, you can't really spit splice it. Spit splicing is felting the 2 ends together. So I did a Russian join. I learned how to do a Russian join, got it in there, it's holding together. I had to have my moment of utter panic and that stuff. Steve had to come downstairs during the moment of utter panic and look at me and go, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "My yarn broke." And he's like, "Okay." And then just walks out of the room. He just, at those moments, just Don't fix it, just listen. So I fixed it. It's still, it's better now. You can't even tell. I can tell on where it is, and because that's me. It's like when you're a cross stitcher, you make a mistake somewhere, you know where that stitch is, you will always, your eyes will always go to that stitch, but everybody else is like, what mistake? And so I know where the splice is, but you really, really can't tell from looking at it, which I was so happy about, because that's what I was fearing, because this is gorgeous yarn. And then the other thing I have casted on, and that was the next cast on, not in any chronological order, because I cast this on June 23rd. This is from Tin Can Knits. That's a theme you're going to see with me. I love Tin Can Knits. I love their patterns. Is Wheat. This scarf is called Wheat. Like I said, I cast it on June 23rd, January. Oh my God. June 23rd. I'm using the Lion Brand Woolies, and it's in the colorway Dark Rose Heather. Yeah, it's Lion Brand, but it's amazing. It's still wool. There is wool in their woolies. I mean, they wouldn't call it woolies if there wasn't some wool in it.
Yeah.
And I'm loving this. What I love about this one is the stockinette area of this scarf, because the rest is garter. This is kind of in stockinette, or it's a knit one, purl one section.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like a plowed field. It looks like, you know, how country girl. When come winter, right before winter, some farmers do this, still do this, some do not. Some just leave the stubble on the field.
Which is what they should do.
Which is what they should do. There are still some farmers out there who farrow their fields, meaning they take a really deep plowshare and they turn the stubble under. And they leave really deep grooves. Deeper than when they've planted. These are really deep. This is to get that plant matter way down in there. And this is what it reminds me of, because that's what I love too in the winter, when you get the first light snow on the farrowed fields, and then yeah.
Country girl.
So, country girl. You can take the girl out of the country. You can't take the country out of the girl.
Nope.
And then I have another cast on, which was July 18th. It's a shawl pattern from Red Heart Yarns. Don't hate me.
I'm not gonna hate.
There's some Red Hearts that are not as bad as the Red Heart Super Saver. If yarn squeaks, I have an issue with it. Or if yarn is looking plasticky like the Red Heart Super Saver, when you're knitting with it and you're looking at it up close, you're like, this looks like multiple strands of plastic. Oh, because it is. It's acrylic. This is called the Lace Border Shawl. It's from Red Heart Yarns. I'm not using a Red Heart yarn to do it the first time. This also has a story. It's all because of this yarn. This yarn cursed everything. I started this in a Red Heart yarn, what the Red Heart yarn this pattern was designed for, and is it the Unforgettable? No, this is Unforgettable. There is a Red Heart and a Lion Brand yarn that look very similar. They look like a long piece of really skinny roving. It is yarn. It's not roving, people, though you can knit with roving. In the color Bistro, in the colorway Bistro. I started knitting it, and I got through it, and then I went to do the first repeat. Or no, I didn't even get through the first repeat. I think I just gotten through the setup rows. Yeah, I just gotten through the setup rows, and I went to do another row, and something went wrong. And at that point, because this is the week where in 2 days I ripped out the same shawl 3 times, I threw it across the room and went, oh, I forgot how to knit. So I started trillion. So I ripped the back, for the black and the black and gray. That's what these shows. It's a black and gray. And then one of my other knitting friends said, you know, maybe you're starting with too dark of colors, you know. You're not an expert level knitter. Knitting with black, just like stitching on black, is difficult because you can't really see your stitches. So they're like, choose a different yarn. Choose something with a different variation that's lighter, or just start with white. And I'm like, I can't do white. I have children. And so I got this yarn from Lion Brand, and it's called Sand Dune. The Red Heart shawl pattern was designed by Diane Moyer. I'm liking it. I think it's kind of chunky. It still has a nice lace effect to it, but like it's, you know, this is kind of chunky for me, though it might be nice during those really cold mornings at the bus stop with the child. So there was that cast on. And then we're going to talk about, and then I'm going to show you guys this. This is my owl. Yeah, let me scroll down my notes. My owl coffee cup cozy. It is another one of those cabling patterns where after you've done all the cables, it looks like little owls, and my stitch marker fell off. Awesome. I'll have to try to remember where I started in the round. Woohoo, that's going to be fun. But it's this far. It's in Karen Simply Soft Heather colorway charcoal. I had leftover yarn from my maid Steve's hat, so I'm making myself a little owl coffee cup cozy.
There you go.
Because a lot of people know I have Starbucks days on Saturdays and Sundays. And since, well, right now it's hot out. We're having our summer. We're having, you know, it's the week where we're hot in the Midwest. It's summer. So I'm drinking a lot of iced beverages right now. During the winter, though, I drink a lot of lattes, a lot of hot chocolate. So that cozy will get some use. And now we've come to the last of my knitting projects. And this is the shawl that has been the bane of my existence. I love tin can knits. I can't say enough how much I love tin can knits. But this shawl, I have nicknamed the shawl the "You Will Not Beat Me" shawl. Yeah, I refuse to be beaten. Yeah, you will not beat me. I will beat you. This is Estuary from Tin Can Knits. Let me pull up a photo of Estuary while I talk about it. So one night on Ravelry, I was just kind of, you know, sitting there. Well, it was on night of hangout. It was just me, Charity, and Netta. And I'm on Ravelry, and I'm just scrolling through shawls. And I come across this shawl from Tin Can Knits. And I'm sitting there, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, that is a gorgeous shawl. I need to make that shawl. A smarter knitter would have been like, my level isn't quite there yet. Maybe I should start with something simpler.
Like Netta.
Yeah. Netta knew exactly when I called the name out. She kind of knew what shawl I was talking about. And she's like, pulling out her Mama Netta, going, honey. And I'm like, what? She's like, you really want to do that? I'm like, I have to do this. It's gorgeous. This is my taste. I have to have it. She's like, okay. And then I made, so mistake number one, I didn't listen to Netta. Mistake number two, I decided to do it in black. Yeah.
This is funny now. It wasn't so funny when it was happening.
Exactly. So I get through, and then as I do this, I'm like, oh, I get the pattern because it's a free pattern. I downloaded it. I was like, this is gonna be fun. And then I'm like, oh, this doesn't have written instructions. I'm so still new beginning in knitting that I prefer written instructions. I can read a chart because I'm a cross stitcher. I know how to read a chart. Knitting charts are a little bit different because you read one row right to left, and then you read the other row right above it, left to right, how you would knit it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not confident in my chart reading skill. So I'm like, okay, I can figure this out because this just has the odd rows charted because all the even rows or the resting rows are all the same. Knit 2, purl to the last 2, knit 2. That's the resting row for the even rows or the wrong side. I'm like, okay, I can do this. If you have to convince yourself that much about a project, and so I start and I get through chart A. Now, I didn't even get through chart A the first time. I got to doing the last resting row of chart A, row 72, and somehow I dropped a stitch. I didn't have enough stitches on my needle. So I'm sitting there trying to untink lace knitting, trying to tink lace knitting. I'm like, and Netta's like, honey, what are you doing? And I'm like, I made a mistake. She's like, okay, where's your lifeline? I look at her like, lifeline? She goes, oh, dearie. So I'm trying to tink this lace pattern. I get frustrated. I break the yarn. I throw that away. I'm like, okay, I'm going to get Post-it notes. I'm going to get a pen, and we're going to mark it off as we go, and I'm going to keep that Post-it note moving up. And I was doing good. I got all the way through chart A. And then I got into chart the first time where you start to deviate and you start adding the second lace pattern. That's right, estuary is 2 lace patterns in one shawl. So I'm into charts C and D. I don't even get halfway through D chart and I'm like, I screwed up somewhere. And yet again, Netta goes, where's your lifeline? Once again, I have to disappoint Mama Netta and be like, I didn't put a lifeline in. So once again, I break the yarn and I throw it away. And I started a third time. And I only get halfway through chart A before I mess it up again. And that's when I threw it across the room. Yeah, I throw a lot of things across the room when it comes to knitting. And I said, that's it. I'm done. I'm taking a break. But as I said it, I was like, this chart will not, it will not beat me. And that's when I picked up Trillian and went, okay, I know how to knit. But once I show you these pictures, you'll see why I think this chart, this knit is, it doesn't look difficult. It's deceiving. It's gorgeous. It's my aesthetic. I've restarted it. I am using a Deborah Norville Serenity sock yarn. It is 50% superwash merino and 25% bamboo, 25% nylon. So it's 50% wool, 50% bamboo mix in a different colorway, in woodsy green, lighter colorway. I've got a good little bit of a start on it. We'll see how this goes. But this is estuary.
Very nice.
This is the shawl that is determined to beat me. See, there you go. There's where you can see the 2 different lace patterns.
Mm-hmm. It's gorgeous.
It's gorgeous. It's going to kick my butt, but I am going to do it.
I'm pretty sure it's already doing that. I think Estuary 3, Mindy 0.
Right now, Estuary 3, Mindy 0. Yeah. So it's been quite a ride with that shawl. Like Charity said, it's funny now. I can laugh at it now. When that was happening, I was pissed. I was like, the third time it happened, I was like, and I literally just about had a 3-year-old temper tantrum. And Alex is playing a game. Excuse the noise. He can't play games quietly. But that was my adventures in knitting so far for the couple of months here. I've had more knitting adventures, I think, than any one knitter should have in that short amount of time. I mean, yeah. So.
All right.
And over to you, Charity.
Let me finish my 3 stitches here. Because, you know. So, I am the novice newbie knitter. Crochet is my thing, not so much the knitting. However, Mindy and Netta have convinced me to pick it back up. I, you know, did it 10 years or so ago and switched to loom knitting because I liked that better. And so I picked it back up, and I'm the smarter one. I started with the dishcloth. So the pattern is by Creating Laura, and in the show notes I'll have her blog linked. So it's Laura Dottie, but her blog is Creating Laura. It's a really simple pattern. You know, can see all the mistakes I've made, but it's a cute little washcloth. So I finished that and made a crap ton of mistakes. So I started another one. And this one is looking infinitely better. So I'm pretty happy. And yeah, it's peaches and cream. I don't keep the tags. I throw them away. So
I need to start journaling. You need to start keeping your yarn bands.
no, I'll just create a journal for my yarn craft and write it down and still throw it away. So yeah, I have plans for the future of my knitting, but that's where I'm at right now. And the knitting is, the washcloth is what I'm working on right now while we're doing this podcast. I'm getting close to having it finished. Yeah, it's so much tighter too. Oh, what practice will do for you. So next up is crochet.
Oh, wait. What about your loom knitting? Don't you have anything on the loom?
And not an actual pattern, so I'm just not going to talk about it until I, you know, find a pattern that works, because the one I had sucks.
Okay. Okay, crochet. Crochet for me is quite simple. I only have one thing, because I literally just started this month crocheting.
You started crochet, I started knitting.
Yep. That was kind of the deal. She learned knitting. I'll learn crochet.
Back up for her to learn crochet.
Yep. Well, the thing is, I did learn crochet, but that was like, you know, almost 28 years ago.
No.
My mom, bless my mother, she tried to teach me crochet. And we tried to do the dishcloth, you know, the same thing that you do when you're young. Let's make a dishcloth. I never finished that first dishcloth. I think that yarn was donated to my cat. This is before we found out, too, that I was allergic to cats. I had cats all my life before we found out I was allergic to them. So here it is, the Red Heart Super Saver pink tonal, the squeaky yarn. I've bought a book at work. It says, Learn to Crochet. Everyone knows this book. You know, when you go into Joann craft stores back in the needlework area, there's these little section of knitting and crochet patterns. You know, we have the big wall of books of knitting and crochet, and then around the corner there's this little area of like simple patterns and learn to books and DVDs. So I bought the book Learn to Crochet. I should have done this years ago to start knitting and just bought the book Learn to Knit, because this takes you through stepped patterns that teach you the basics. I am making the coaster from that book. And right now I'm on the edges. I'm doing the edge. So it's a nice little coaster.
looking very good.
Yes, it's acrylic, so it's not going to soak up any moisture. It's not going to work. It'll still be somewhere I can set my coffee mug, so I'm not leaving, rings in the table.
Yeah.
But there it is. As I was crocheting this, you could hear me going, come on. Unlike my knitting, I'm sort of a tight knitter. I'm real, I'm starting to get looser. I'm a very tight crocheter.
Yeah.
This thing curls in on itself and stays that way.
Yep. Little tight.
Yeah. Little tight. I'm learning. I really need to finish that edge because otherwise it's just going to sit like this.
Yep.
And so that's my crochet. I haven't finished it yet. It's still a whip. It will probably be finished hopefully by next podcast because I don't have that much left on it.
Yeah, she's gonna finish it. I'm going to torture her or something.
So that's it for my crochet.
Okay, well, I forgot to get one of my crochet projects out. So, more recent crochet, I've been crocheting for quite some time. I made what is the pattern? This pattern calls it a simple snooty. I have no clue. It's the hat with the scarf. So, and the yarn, this is Bernat, I think. And the fuzzy stuff, I don't remember what that was. It came from my stash from another project. I had a little bit left over, so I trimmed it. It's a Christmas present for my niece. I need to make some fingerless mitts to go with it. So, and the pattern was off of Ravelry, and the link will be in our show notes. And then these people dragged me down the horrible road of Ravelry. Thank you so much, Mindy and Netta. And now I have 20 zillion projects I have to do.
You're welcome.
One of the patterns was for my husband, and I made this little guy. And all the Doctor Who fans are going, I know what that is. So I made the little dude for my husband. And this has to be shown the way he does it because it's just so stinking cute.
It is. I had no idea you could make this next thing kawaii, but Jim figured out how to do it.
So, Cthulhu mask on an adipose.
It's a kawaii Cthulhu.
So, I made the Cthulhu, and again, the pattern is on our show notes. The only thing I did change, the hat is still a little big, but I made it a little smaller. I added the bridge here, and I did my own pattern for the tentacles because I wanted them curly and different sizes and shapes, and I think they came out really cute. So, and it's apparently a huge hit because I now have to make one for my cousin, and I'm probably going to make them for my brothers and nephews for Christmas. So, yeah. It's cat toy. I didn't dig that out. Now we have to go through the... Nope. The other thing I've been working on is I am making this blanket. So
I want that. I need to make one of those blankets now.
yeah, well, there are similar patterns all over the internet and Ravelry. This book is, I think, from the 80s. Nope, 90s. 94 is the copyright on it. So I am making it for my father-in-law. I have not gotten that far, but it's great to stitch while I'm at the drive-in. Because it's a really easy thing and you just go on bands. And I am using just basic cheap yarn because my father-in-law has a dog and he doesn't, wash the blankets or protect them very well. So yeah, I'm not going to get too fancy. And then the last one is a unicorn hat, which again, the link will be on our show notes, and I've just started.
You got it started.
Yes, I started it. I want to get the hat portion finished by the time the kids get here next weekend, so I can pop it on her head real quick and make sure the size works for her. So I gotta get that done, or attempt it. So yeah, that's what I've got going right now as far as crochet. And now we're to the other miscellaneous crafts.
And in miscellaneous crafts, we will include things like if we've been sewing on anything during the time period between shows, any paper crafting we may have done. When we say we craft, we craft. If it is crafty, we do it. It's gotten to the point to where I'm like looking at some of these amazing paper crafted Halloween villages going, I could so do that.
I do a lot of the painting of the village type things. I also do, oh yeah.
Yeah, if it's crafty, we'll figure out a way to do it.
When I'm in the mood. God only knows.
Yeah. So for me, my other crafting right now has been sewing. And in the sewing, I got an FFO. I can't show you guys the FFO yet because it's a surprise gift for somebody. And I have to, I FFO'd something for somebody as a gift for somebody else. I know, that's like confusing. We need a flow chart. I'm a finisher. All my friends are stitchers. One stitcher stitched something for another stitcher. I am finishing it. So right now I'm the middleman.
Yep.
I've just finished it off this morning before I had to go to Target. And so now I just got to get it in the box and get it in the mail. But what has to be included in this box, because they all have to go to the same general location, is baby wipes. So I have been making baby wipes. I spent 4 hours yesterday cutting out 6.5-inch blocks of terry and flannel. This whole show you've heard me complain about terry fuzz. When you cut terry, the little loops that shut off, they go everywhere and they're all over the front of my shirt. So I right now have this stack. They're stacked up so I can just go to the sewing machine, and all I do when I make baby wipes is the front is flannel, the back is terry, because you want soft on one side and you do want something kind of scrubby on the other side for the baby bottom, but not like super scrubby. So terry works wonderful. They're just like this. And then all I do is I just do an overlocked edge stitch on the edges. They're going to get used. They're going to get grungy. So I don't do too much with them. I have another stack over here that I got to put together. So all in all, I'll have 35 made. That should be enough for about 2 days.
Which you need to get done tonight.
Which I need to get done tonight. Tonight, tomorrow, because I can put it in the mail Monday if need be. But that's my drop date. That's my drop dead date. So that's what I've been sewing on as baby wipes.
And I have lots of sewing I need to do. The only sewing I have been doing is I've been making project bags. I've made a lot of project bags, and yeah, here's some more, and there's some more in the closet. So yeah, I've been apparently, unbeknownst to me, it's not cool to just use a Walmart bag, which is what I grew up using. So fine, I'll make some project bags because yeah. So yeah, I've been sewing project bags. All right.
You know, we could just kind of blame this all on Netta.
It's Netta's fault. That sounds.
It's all Netta's fault. Everything is Netta's fault. This podcast is Netta's fault.
Yeah, she's the one that suggested it, didn't she?
Yep.
Yep, Netta's fault. I'm good.
Netta's fault.
So, All
Okay.
right. Future plans.
Future plans. Well, for me, for my cross stitching for future plans, because I want to get a 4-foot tree this year for all of my ornaments, I need to be making said ornaments. And I also need to focus on something that I've been stitching for Steve for quite some time now. I have a pattern called Middle Earth Map. All you Heaven and Earth fans know which pattern it is. No, it's not the supersized one. It was the original one released way back in the day before she recharted it with like lighter colors and clearer print and then made it supersized. I have been working on that since I think 2008. Or was it earlier? I don't know. It's been quite a few years. His goal is he wants it for his 50th birthday. He turns 49. Yeah, he'll be turning 49 next year. I don't have much time left. So I'll be focusing for our Sweet Summer Escape event over at Cross Stitch It's Fun. I'll be focusing on the map and ornaments. That's what I'm saying right now. But we all know what's going to happen is I'm going to be in a hangout and I'm going to be like, I need one new start. I'm getting sick of ornaments. And then I'll hear Netta going, start an ornament.
And, you know, me, I'll be trying to derail her because that's just what we do.
Yeah. Yep. And then in my yarn crafts, my future plans and goals, I want to knit a pair of socks. I've actually think I know what I want to do. I found a sock pattern on Ravelry. I believe it's free. It's called Gillyweed. And I found a sock yarn called Gillyweed.
There you go.
I mean, come on. What must a Harry Potter fan do when they find a sock pattern called Gillyweed and a yarn called Gillyweed?
They must knit it.
You must make the socks. And if you don't know how to knit, you must learn how to knit so you can make the socks. So I want to knit a pair of socks. And then for crochet, I want to do a popcorn garland. I found the pattern I want to use for the popcorn because back in the day when I was a little kid, my mom had a crocheted and wood bead popcorn and cranberry garland. But hers was just like she strung the wood beads on as she went.
Mm-hmm.
So there wasn't any really like, it was like one continuous strand.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like they looked like popcorn kernels. They were just like a bauble.
Mm-hmm.
Like a shell stitch and then put on a bead, bauble stitch, bead, bauble stitch. And so that was hers. And I that's nostalgic. But for me, I think if it's a popcorn chain, it needs to look like individual pieces of popcorn. And so I found a pattern where you crochet individual pieces of popcorn.
No, she's not crazy, not at all.
So I am going to buy a 1 pound skein of white yarn. I don't know if I'm going to use, I might use Lion brand because for the big department store, craft store yarns, Lion brand is a really good brand of yarn. I'm in love with Lion brand. So I'm probably going to buy the Lion brand Pound of Love in white and make popcorn kernels until I can no longer stand to look at popcorn kernels. And then I'm going to get some wood beads and I'm going to stain them. I'm not going to paint them and I'm not going to get like the pre-colored wood beads because to me that's too primary. I'm looking for a more...
You want a country crafts type deal.
Yeah. Yeah. But we don't tell Steve it's country. We tell him it's nostalgic.
Vintage.
Vintage. Yep. We don't say country. I'm a country girl who married a city boy.
And the city boy hasn't quite learned yet that the country girl gets what the country girl wants.
Yeah.
We're country girls, and that's just how we roll.
Yep. So that's my plan, is to make the garland, the popcorn and cranberry garland for my small Christmas tree. And then in my sewing future plans is project bags. I need more project bags. I have one. So I need to get sewing. I got to beat Charity.
So yeah, she needs ones that look like this.
I was going to say, you know, you better, if I ever come visit, you better hide that thing. Because it's going in my suitcase.
All right, so my future plans. Well, probably won't be a whole heck of a lot since I have to, you know, study this week, but we'll see what happens. So I want to finish the row of pages on the lighthouse. So I'm hoping I can get that done this weekend. I don't get to go crazy for Sweet Summer Escape, which I really, really, really want to. So, but well, if I pass this test, I can go crazy. So we'll see what Thursday brings. I may be celebrating and going crazy.
Run for the hills now. Either way, if she passes or if she doesn't pass, just run now.
Yeah, that might be a good idea. So I've got quite the thing of projects that I want to start. So for cross stitching, so we'll see how it goes. I would also, yeah, no, I'm not going to finish anything. Let's just be honest, it ain't going to happen.
Finishing? What's that?
I'm a starter, not a finisher. I'll get around to some eventually. For yarn craft, when I finish this washcloth, I will be putting on a needle, a Halloween one in black. So hopefully I will have that started, if not finished, by the next podcast. I also need to do the fingerless mitts, and that's crochet. And then this isn't even in the show notes yet, so Mindy doesn't know. But I bought an online crochet magazine last night after we got off the hangout. And I found that.
What'd you find? Oh, that is cool.
So I won't do it in pink because pink's not my thing. It's moderately challenging. So yeah, we're going to stretch my crochet skills a little bit because I typically don't do anything that fancy. And then just to make Mindy drool, because I can and I enjoy it.
Planner clips!
Yep!
Oh my god, I need all three, especially the owl.
Yeah, I knew you'd want the owl, but the skull and crossbones is kind of where I'm thinking. The owl could possibly get made too. So, but I've got to find some thread. So it wouldn't be a purple owl either way because that ain't happening. But those were totally cute. And then there's this one.
That's cute.
Yeah.
I'd wear that.
That is only intermediate, so I might do that one first.
Oh, that's the perfect project for me. I just learned how to crochet. Let's jump into this.
So those are some crochet projects. I'm hoping to maybe get a couple started, but again, it'll depend on how that test goes. Crossed. For sewing, somebody, I won't mention any names, Mindy, told me that a certain store has Nightmare Before Christmas fabric. And yes, I'm the Nightmare Before Christmas nut. I'm sure Jack will make an appearance on this podcast eventually. And I want, you know, scroll. I don't know if I'll do scroll covers, but I'm definitely going to do the project cover that covers the whole frame. So
oh yeah,
that's definitely going to get done. And I also want to make that crochet hook roll because I hate this thing with a passion. When I open it up, the needles fall out because there's not enough spaces for all of my needles.
hooks.
Whatever. Although I have to do something for the needles too, because, you know,
Yeah.
besides stabbing the voodoo doll, which they're really good for.
You know, that's probably what those Yarnology ones would be perfect for like costume parts.
Oh yeah, yeah. I need to crochet the voodoo doll for Corey.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Might want to make it as a deer.
that's another thing that's on the to-do list. I have to do the crochet Cthulhu for Jim, the little stuffy Cthulhu.
Yep.
So, yeah, no, not just a little bit on my wish list. We'll see how much actually gets done.
Yeah.
How much we change our mind between now and 2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. Let's see.
Life
updates. My life has been very redundant. Work, eat, sleep, repeat. I am, viewers know this, and I've said it before, I work at Joann Fabric and Crafts. I work at the one here where I live. I work in the framing department, though. I served my time at that cutting table. Oh my God. You retail workers understand me when I say you haven't really worked until you haven't really worked in retail until you've worked a Black Friday. And at our store, nobody gets a day off. Well, you can't ask for the day off. You're not allowed to. It's an unwritten rule. Because if you go in the back room and you're filling out a time off request for Black Friday, your coworkers are not going to like you.
Nope.
It is an unwritten rule. Some stores say you can't take it off. Some stores don't have that policy, but within the retail worker community, it is an unwritten rule. You do not ask for a Black Friday off. You can ask off for
unless you're physically not going to be
in town. You don't get to ask off that day so you can go shopping. There's plenty of shopping you can do before or after your shift in retail land, because as far as I know, nobody works the entire day. Well, my manager, because she's like psycho like that, she would work the entire day because, well, there's a reason she's a manager. She's a control freak. And I say that in the most loving way because of her, our store has done leaps and bounds. It's amazing what we've been able to do as a team and with her leadership. So I've served my time at that cutting table. I've worked 2 Black Fridays at that cutting table. It is when you go into a Joann's on Black Friday and you expect to wait in line, and if you are a worker at Joann's and it's going to be your first Black Friday, if you are at that cutting table, this is the term you will hear: shut up and cut. You don't even move from your station, because if you've gone into a Joann's, you know that we'll walk down, we'll print out your slip, we don't move. We stay at our station. We have multiple receipt printers, so you need to know which handheld your printer is going to. And usually it's very close at hand to you. So all you have to do is reach, grab it, and hand to them their slip. And when we need a new person to cut for, all we do is this. And we have somebody else calling out numbers that day. And that's all they do. They stand there and they call out the numbers. And then they measure our remnants that we are unable to sell at that right away.
Yep.
So we have a cut table manager. But yeah, I work in the framing department now, which is glorious. So when I hear people talking about, oh, framing's not that hard, part of me is like, yeah, it is. So I've been working a lot of hours. I haven't done an update video on my channel in a while because of work, because right before I went to do a video, my work hours picked up because my supervisor went in for knee surgery. She had to have a partial replacement and was out a lot longer than she thought she was going to be. So that's what's been going on in my life, is work. And then my oldest is in summer school, so I have to get up in the morning after working all night, get up with him, get him off to school, and then I still have to do all my other housewife stuff of housework, which, you know, if you ask Steve, which I'm not that good of a housewife, because, you know, the siren's call of the crafting time is a bit too much of a pull on me. And as soon as my butt finds that couch, I'm not moving until I have to get dressed for work.
Good thing he loves you anyway.
Oh yeah. So that's been my life, is just work and kids and family and crafting. You lead the much more interesting life.
Oh yeah, it's a crazy life. So what have I got going on? As I've already said, going back to school. So I just finished summer semester at the end of June. Fall semester starts in mid-August, and I will be interning in a classroom. So yeah, I'm going to be very busy again this year. Gee, why is that not surprising? And then this week I have, or not this week, this upcoming week I have the content test, which is a state requirement, so I have to pass it. And I have to pass it by December 15th. So, and rumor has it, it takes most people twice to pass this thing. So we'll see how that works. And then I have family coming to visit next weekend. And the weekend after, I am going to my hometown because my sister-in-law is flying in. Plus, I haven't been home in almost 6 months. And if I don't get my butt home soon, my mom is going to kill me.
And your grandma will hold you down.
Pretty much. So other than that, yeah, same old, same old. The pets are begging for food because, you know, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and of course they're starving to death. But other than that,
Well, they're not begging too hard. Mac isn't like, you know, all up in your face.
he's not usually the one. He has his minion do it. And she is currently at my feet because I just shoved her off the back of the chair because she was bugging me. So now she's, because the ball of yarn, or the skein of yarn I use for, where is it? There is catnip about in my bag of cat toy. There's catnip in here somewhere. I don't know what she's done with it. Oh, it's in there. Yeah. There's catnip about. Double bagged, and she can smell the catnip.
Why is there catnip with your yarn?
This is the yarn. This is the hideous yarn for cat toys.
Oh, okay. I was like, why, silly woman, did you put catnip in your yarn?
Oh, they don't play with the loose string. I can just sit here and wave the string. And she's like, yeah, that's not interesting. I don't want it. So, just buy the most freaky deaky. Who the heck would use this for anything other than a cat toy? So it's in mine. And it's in a nice, it's in your, you know, the project bag you want to steal.
Oh, great. See? Cats everywhere in the world want me dead. Either they know that I'm allergic to them when I'm near them, so they try to either sleep on my face or sit anywhere near my facial area.
Well, the upside is it's cloth, so you can just wash it.
Yeah. Or they will say, oh, this might go to her someday. I'm going to rub myself all over it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, all right. I think that is everything for today. So,
oh, wait.
Oh.
I have a little bit of a planner haul.
Oh, that's right. You have planner.
Yeah. Me and Charity have happy planners. In fact, Charity made me this cover. And I was at Target today refilling meds for my oldest son and getting lunch while we were there. So why not? Let's go look over at the Target dollar spot.
Hey, I like the Target dollar spot.
I got some clips for my planner. They're little clothespins. And they're black and gold and glittery.
Very cute.
I won't be able to use the glitter ones if I ever have to take the planner into work. Because like I said, I'm a framer.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're everywhere.
Glitter's evil in framing.
Unless you want to clean the black mats.
Or scratch the art. Oh, I think that's it.
All right, well, I hope everybody has enjoyed it, and we will be back in 2 weeks.
See y'all in 2 weeks.
All right, bye, everybody.
Bye.